As Diddy's home in Los Angeles has been raided by Homeland Security.
Homeland Security agents converging on the home of Sean Diddy Combs.
But officials confirm the raid is tied to a investigation.
I guess you wonder what's going to happen next, Diddy.
Looks like things might be getting pretty serious for Diddy, and his end might just be near. You know how folks have been throwing around jokes about him ending up in the slammer because of all those lawsuits? Well, it's not looking like a joke anymore. Homeland Security actually raided 2 of his homes in connection to SEXTFK allegations, and to top it off, his sons Christian and Justin got detained too. The internet predictably went into meltdown mode over this, and you know who had to add fuel to the fire? None other than 50 Cent. That man has been relentless with his commentary on Diddy's woes. Like every time something bad happens to Diddy, 50's right there with his 2 cents. Anyway, without further ado, let's unpack this whole situation.
You're telling me we got to kick it and he was like, yo, why don't we like go shopping or some shit? I mean, like, I pay for it. And I was like, what the this just say?
So, Diddy's homes in Los Angeles and Miami were searched on Monday because he is a target of a federal investigation carried out by a Department of Homeland Security team that handles human TFK crimes, according to a senior federal law enforcement official briefed on the investigation. The probe is being led by the U.S. Attorney for the Southern District of New York and carried out by the Department of Homeland Security Investigations' Transnational Organized Crime Division, the official told CNN. The investigation stems from many of the same allegations put forth by several civil lawsuits filed in New York against Combs with allegations of SA, including one filed in December in federal court that also included allegations of SEXTFK, according to a second law enforcement source familiar with Monday's searches. Combs has previously denied those allegations. Heavily teams of HSI agents searched Combs' homes, some riding in armored vehicles, in part because authorities believed Combs employs private security at each of his residences. Agents were authorized to search for documents, phones, computers, and other electronic devices that hold data or videos. HSI in New York said it executed law enforcement actions as part of an ongoing investigation in cooperation with local law enforcement and HSI units in Los Angeles and Miami, and would provide further information as it becomes available. Combs' representatives have not returned CNN's request for comment on the searches. Now, people were saying that Diddy fled his mansion, and when the authorities showed up, they didn't find him, but they did detain his 2 sons, Christian and Justin, which some people find really sad that Diddy just left his children hanging like that.
Christine, one of the many questions today is, where is he? Where was Sean Diddy Combs while these raids were being carried out at his residences?
I mean, his children could have been in serious danger because if you know anything about Homeland Security, they do not play. I mean, they show up there with their and tanks. It's very intimidating, and they will attack if they feel there's a hint of a threat. So folks were understandably shocked that Diddy would leave his kids potentially in harm's way like that. There were even whispers that he jetted off to some private island with authorities hot on his tail, but it turns out he wasn't on that jet at all. In fact, he was spotted pacing outside Miami airport.
I guess you wonder what's going to happen next, Diddy.
So some people think he was trying to throw them off his scent, cooking up some sneaky plan to skip town without a trace. Naturally, 50 Cent, known as a longtime troll when it comes to anything Diddy related, wasted no time in getting on Instagram and clowning his foe. SHT just got real, 50 wrote in a now deleted Instagram post. The feds in all the cribs, damn they got the kids in cuffs. In another post, 50 Cent said there was no way Diddy was coming back from this. Now it's not Diddy do it, it's Diddy done, 50 wrote. They don't come like that unless they got a case. Besides 50 Cent, the whole internet was buzzing with chatter about the whole situation. One user said, "Feds got a 95% conviction rate. By the time they at your house, please believe they already know what they're looking for. He going to prison." While another person said, "Buying a house in your daughter's name where you other people's daughters was certainly a choice." Now, to fully understand why Diddy's houses got raided, let's take a swift look at all the claims against him, starting off with the famous Cassie case. On November 16, 2023, Cassie filed a lawsuit spilling the beans about a decade of alleged and violence during her relationship with Diddy.
Sean Diddy Combs, the rapper and music mogul, is accused of and years of abuse in a new lawsuit filed by R&B singer Cassie.
Cassie describing the music mogul as a vicious, cruel, and controlling man, saying she was trapped and held down by Combs. She's now suing him for what she says happened during what she's calling a of abuse.
The lawsuit painted a harsh picture, claiming Diddy M-worded and A-ed Cassie when she was 19 and he was 37. It also spilled details about substance A allegedly pushed by Diddy, messing up Cassie's life. According to the lawsuit, Diddy was running the show in Cassie's life, from her finances to digging into her medical records. Cassie spilled that an MRI showed memory loss, blaming it on Diddy's physical aggression and the pills he pushed her to take, especially loads of painkillers. Back in 2016, Cassie tried to cut ties with Diddy, and things got absolutely insane. The cops had to step in, but she didn't press charges because she was genuinely scared of Diddy's unpredictable nature. After their intense fights, he tried to smooth things over by showering her with fancy gifts, but the bruises on Cassie told a completely different story. He ended up hiding her away in hotels for recovery. Diddy was also accused of using Cassie in some seriously messed up ways, even getting her involved with other male. Apparently, he got a sick thrill out of watching her with. The situation reached a new level with Cassie engaging in explicit activities labeled as freak-offs for cash. And get this, Diddy supposedly recorded it all, not for any good reason, but to keep Cassie in check, threatening to expose her if she tried to take legal action. Escaping this crazy situation was no walk in the park for Cassie. Diddy, described as a force, used his connections to cut her off from friends and family, instilling fear for her safety. In 2018, he's even accused of barging into her apartment and forcing her into non-consensual acts. Even after Cassie managed to escape, Diddy's behavior stayed nuts, with him trying to keep tabs on her every move. And just when you thought Diddy couldn't catch a break, he's hit with more serious accusations. An unnamed woman just dropped a lawsuit claiming that back in 1990 or 1991, Diddy and R&B singer Aaron Hall A.ed her and her friend at Hall's place. She and her friend supposedly met Diddy and Hall at an MCA event. Things got sketchy with the guys getting flirty and handsy. Post-event, Diddy and Hall invite them to an after-party at Hall's pad. According to the lawsuit, Jane Doe was coerced into sex with Diddy, and then Hall allegedly forced her friend into it. Then days later, Diddy supposedly shows up at Jane Doe's place, gets all angry, and allegedly A.ed and chokes her until she passes out. Why? The lawsuit claims he was worried the friend would spill the beans to the girl he was with at the time. Then another lawsuit hits him. This time, the alleged victim was just 17 and in 11th grade when she says Diddy, his bad boy president Harv Pierre, and some unnamed third person did some heinous stuff to her. Serious trigger warning stuff. The lawsuit spills out disturbing details of an alleged 2003 attack in Diddy's studio. The woman claims she met Harv Pierre in a Detroit lounge, got up, and then things took a dark turn in the studio in New Jersey. Transporting a minor across state lines kind of situation. Shades of R. Kelly vibes. Jane Doe claims she was chilling at a lounge in Detroit with a friend like 2 decades ago. Harv Pierre spots her, starts throwing compliments about her looks, and brags about being BFFs with Combs. Then he tells her Diddy would love to meet her, gives Combs a call right there, and the music big shot personally invites her on a spontaneous trip to New York on a private jet. According to the lawsuit, that private jet ride took the teen to Teterboro Airport in New Jersey. From there, they hopped into an SUV with Pierre and another mystery guy, heading to the studio where Diddy was doing his thing with some artist. The legal doc, snagged by Rolling Stone, even has color pics supposedly from inside Daddy's house recording studio that night, and one of them shows the teen sitting on Diddy's lap. The claim is they kept plying her with a ton of booze and stuff while Diddy, Pierre, and the third wouldn't let up with the advances, constantly getting handsy with her. Things take a dark turn in the lawsuit. As the teen gets more and more wasted, everything starts to get hazy. Allegedly, Diddy takes her to a bathroom, strips off her skirt and undies, and, well, you know, the lawsuit filed in the Southern District of New York says she didn't agree to any of it, but Diddy just keeps going. At one point, he apparently turns her around, tells her to squeeze his nips to help him finish, then goes back to doing his thing. Miss Doe did not consent to having sex with Mr. Combs, but he continued thrusting. At some point, Mr. Combs turned Miss Doe around to face him. He told her that he could not owe word and asked her to squeeze his nips as hard as she could to help him get off. He then turned her back around and continued to R-word her, the lawsuit alleges. The teen is kind of fading in and out, and when she checks the mirror over the sink, she sees that the mystery guy from the plane has taken over, doing some messed up stuff from behind. And get this, Diddy's just chilling in a chair right outside the bathroom, watching the whole messed up scene unfold. In Doe's story, the mystery guy doesn't pay attention to her begging him to stop. Eventually, he steps aside so Pierre can have a go. According to her, Pierre starts with something non-consensual and ends by making her do something she didn't want to. In a pretty forceful way, Miss Doe remembers that Mr. Pierre was and that she had difficulty breathing, the lawsuit alleges. When Mr. Pierre finished, he left Miss Doe in the bathroom alone. Miss Doe fell into the fetal position and lay on the floor. Her V was in pain. So, once the teen kinda got herself together with a bit of help, they took her back to the airport and flew her back to Michigan. The lawsuit, which also calls out Daddy's House recordings and Bad Boy Entertainment, mentions she's got hazy memories of the flight back and only really recalls being in her car super early in the morning. And finally, a new lawsuit just hit Diddy, courtesy of producer Lil Rod. Rod, who was actively involved in Puff Daddy's latest LP, the Love Album, Off the Grid, recently sued his collaborator for $30 million and accused him of sex harassment, him and women, him, and several other acts.
Jones also alleges Combs forced him to engage in unwelcome acts with and that Combs and his staff engaged in, quote, serious illegal activity. He is seeking $30 million.
He claimed that Diddy his genitals and touched his. He believes that Diddy was him to have. He says that Diddy downplayed it just like he as a joke, like, yo, we just playing around.
Just horse playing.
Yeah.
Among the laundry list of accusations is Diddy allegedly strong-arming Jones into arranging encounters with sex workers and pressuring him into participating in some seriously unwanted bedroom activities, not just with these workers, but with others too. And if that's not enough to make your jaw hit the floor, get this, Diddy supposedly served up spiked drinks to unsuspecting guests at his swanky parties. According to the lawsuit, there are even screenshots supposedly showing gatherings at Diddy's that included underage girls and more sex workers. And get this, some of these ladies allegedly had their drinks tampered with at Diddy's direction. This legal bombshell also called out some other names like about Diddy's right-hand woman, Christina Coram, Universal Music Group CEO Sir Lucian Grange, and former Motown Records CEO Ethiopia Habtemariam. They're all caught up in this legal whirlwind. Jones says in the lawsuit that Grange, Habtemariam, Motown Records, Love Records, and Universal Music Group effectively worked together with Combs in a RICO enterprise that failed to adequately monitor, warn, or supervise the actions of Combs, his son, and his chief of staff. A RICO enterprise is any individuals or groups that act together to the Racketeer-Influenced and Corrupt Organizations Act. And get this, Jones isn't just looking for a slap on the wrist here, he's aiming high, seeking a cool $30 million in damages. But an attorney for Combs is slamming Jones' claims as pure fiction, straight up calling them out as a cheap ploy to grab headlines. We have overwhelming, indisputable proof that his claims are complete lies. Our attempts to share this proof with Mr. Jones' attorney, Tyrone Blackburn, have been ignored, as Mr. Blackburn refuses to return our calls, the attorney, Sean Hawley, said in a statement. We will address these outlandish allegations in court and take all appropriate action against those who make them. Now, according to Jones' lawsuit, he claims that back in August 2022, Diddy himself reached out to him to produce some tunes for the R&B album, the Love Album, Off the Grid, which ended up snagging a Grammy nomination after its release in September 2023. But here's the kicker. Jones says his life took a nosedive after he agreed to work with Diddy. Jones alleges that Combs' sex harassed and aided him while he lived with him at Combs' homes in Florida, Los Angeles, and New York, as well as on a yacht Combs rented in the U.S. Virgin Islands. The harassment in A included constant unsolicited and unauthorized and touching of his A, according to the lawsuit. Jones says he was forced to work in Combs' bathroom as Combs showered in a glass enclosure. When he tried to raise the alarm about Diddy's behavior to Christina Coram, Diddy's right-hand woman, Jones claims she brushed it off as just friendly horseplay, stating that those acts were Mr. Combs' way of showing that he likes you. The lawsuit accuses Coram of aiding and abetting Combs' SA of Jones and of working with Combs to G-word him into accepting a homo relationship. Jones also alleges that he was forced to solicit sex workers and perform sex acts with them to please Combs. To aid in the alleged recruitment, Jones said, Combs provided him with an exclusive bad boy baseball cap and required him to wear it to a Miami establishment as a signal to any sex worker he approached that Combs was in town and had sent Jones to recruit them. Jones alleges Combs, whom he describes in the suit as forceful and demanding and someone who does not take no for an answer, leveraged his power as one of the most influential people in hip-hop and business to intimidate him, including by threatening to inflict bodily harm if Jones did not comply with his demands. On one occasion, Jones alleges, Combs forced him to watch as he displayed and bragged about getting away with shooting people. In a separate incident, Jones alleges, Combs shared that he was responsible for a shooting in a nightclub in New York City in 1999 with the rapper Shine, born Jamal Barrow. A jury acquitted Combs of possession and bribery charges in connection with that incident, while Barrow was sentenced to 10 years in jail. Jones was terrified of Combs and felt he could not tell him no, according to the suit. Mr. Combs consistently made it clear that he has immense power in the music industry and with law enforcement, the lawsuit says. Jones says in the lawsuit that he has video and audio evidence to support some of the allegations. The lawsuit says that Combs required Jones to record him constantly, and that on several occasions, Combs took Jones's cell phone to record himself. As a result, Jones alleges he has hundreds of hours of video and audio records of Combs, his staff, and his guests engaging in serious illegal activity. Jones says in the suit that he believes Combs also him on February 2, 2023. He alleges he woke up dizzy and confused in bed with Combs and two SES workers. In response to a request for comment, Jones's attorney Tyrone Blackburn used a Latin phrase res ipsa loquitur, which loosely translates as "the thing speaks for itself," referring to the lawsuit. Jones says in the suit that he was under an implied work-for-hire agreement and was not compensated for the songs he produced on the Love album. As a result, the lawsuit says Combs, Love Records, Motown Records, and Universal Music Group were all unjustly enriched at his expense. Now, the worst thing about this lawsuit is that it's not just Diddy in the hot seat this time. There's a whole crew of big names getting dragged into this mess, and they're not being called victims. They're being labeled as partners in crime. First up, we have Cuba Gooding Jr. According to the legal docs that TMZ managed to get their hands on, Jones believes that Diddy was pulling some shady moves with the intention of passing him off to other folks. And get this, he claims that Diddy introduced him to Cuba on his swanky yacht, and let's just say things took a nosedive into uncomfortable territory real quick. Allegedly, Cuba started making unwanted moves on Jones, totally crossing the line until Jones had to push him away. Jones even tossed in a pic of Cuba hugging him as supposed evidence. Mr. Combs had dominion and control over the actions of Cuba Gooding Jr. and failed to step in and stop Cuba Gooding Jr. from SAing Mr. Jones, the suit alleges. Then we've got Young Miami. Jones is dropping bombshells left and right, claiming he's got solid evidence of some seriously shady stuff going down. He alleges that Young Miami's cousin or assistant, whoever it may be, made unwanted advances towards him. According to Jones, things went down on Thanksgiving Day back in 2022 while he was chilling with Diddy, Young Miami, and her crew. Apparently, this cousin of Young Miami barged into the bathroom while Jones was doing his business, and things quickly escalated into some inappropriate touching. Jones tried to push her away, but it didn't end there. Allegedly, she then tried to get frisky right in front of Diddy and the gang. And that's not all. Jones claims Young Miami was among those getting paid by Diddy for some, extra services. Fast forward to September 2022, and there's more drama unfolding at Chalice Recording Studio in LA. Jones alleges a friend of Diddy's son, Justin, got shot, and he was right there, just 2 feet away from the chaos. When Diddy and Justin emerged from the restroom, Jones says he saw the guy suffering from shot wounds. But here's the kicker. Jones claims Diddy forced him to lie to the cops about the whole thing, spinning a tale about it being a drive-by. Now, Justin Combs and his legal team are firing back at these wild accusations with full force. According to a statement from his reps, Justin is flat out denying all of these absurd allegations, calling them nothing but a desperate attempt for a quick cash grab. They are all lies. This is a clear example of a desperate person taking desperate measures in hopes of a payday, the statement said. There will be legal consequences for all defamatory statements made about the Combs family. But the drama doesn't stop there. Stevie J, the Grammy-winning producer from Bad Boy Records, also finds himself smack dab in the middle of these allegations from Jones. According to Jones, Diddy used Stevie J's admiration as part of some G-word process, aiming to ease Jones' anxieties about his sex preference. Allegedly, Diddy even showed Jones footage that he claimed was Stevie J getting cozy with another man. But hold on a sec, turns out those screenshots weren't exactly what they seemed. Adult film star Knockout stepped up on Twitter, straight up saying, "It's me," throwing a wrench in the whole thing. And Stevie J isn't staying silent either. He's got his lawyer in the game, ready to handle this mess. But wait, there's more. Academics, the hip-hop commentator, dug up some juicy details from the lawsuit. It alleges that Diddy had some intimate relations with a Philadelphia rapper who dated Nicki Minaj and an R&B singer who performed at the Super Bowl and had a successful Vegas residency. Now, the footnotes in the lawsuit got tongues wagging, suggesting these mystery celebs could be none other than Meek Mill and Usher. While it's all still up in the air, folks are definitely connecting the dots here.
Mr. Combs informed Mr. Jones that he had engaged in intercourse with rapper 5, that's redacted. Look, 5, he's a Philadelphia rapper who dated Nicki Minaj. And then the next person, R&B singer 6, redacted. Look, he performed at the Super Bowl and had a successful Vegas residency. Usher!
Guys, this whole Diddy situation is giving off major Jeffrey Epstein vibes. Some folks out there are even thinking there's a whole bunch of Epsteins lurking in the shadows of the industry. It's like they're pulling strings to keep big shots, whether they're in politics, music, or entertainment, under their thumb. If they can get them to do some messed up stuff, they've got them by the strings. I'm sure we are all hoping all these shady characters get exposed, not just Diddy. There's a whole bunch of them out there doing some seriously sketchy stuff. Anyways, let's see how these investigations play out. Hopefully they don't bury any evidence, because we need to see it all. You know what they say, what's done in the dark has gotta come to light. Anyways, drop your thoughts down in the comments below, and we'll catch you in the next video.